here they wrote as well last menstruation period EDD 22 February. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but they are always the one that they give us.
It's just funny that my date was perfect.
Yeah, it's perfect that they want to give exactly average. Average EDD.
Yo, 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 good people. It's your homie HerbMan. Busting you back upside the head with another hot banger. Booger, please go tell somebody to go tell somebody your homie HerbMan is on. Yes, sir. And if you're new to the program, welcome, welcome, welcome. Please follow, like, share, and subscribe on all the platforms at Love HerbMan. All right, so I am your neighborhood holistic practitioner. I'm your homie HerbMan. All right, we're coming live from South Africa, live on YouTube, live on TikTok. Go get somewhere, get situated, because we're going to teach you how to heal yourself. But you cannot heal yourself unless you know thyself. So we teach you here about the human frame and the human design so that you guys can be well on your way to happiness, wholeness, and wellness. All right, so this is a free information station. Y'all ain't got to pay for nothing that you hear here today. All you simply got to do on the HerbMan show is pay attention. And how we do that is by double tapping that screen and getting us up to 100,000 likes during the live broadcast. I promise you, it'll be worth it, okay? And once we get to 1,000 likes, we'll get into the subject matter at hand. Please go tell somebody to go tell somebody, because I ain't gonna go over this no more. Again, we're going live on TikTok, live on YouTube. You guys go get somewhere and get situated. So what we've been teaching you guys, okay, what we've been teaching you is about how to know thyself in order to heal thyself. One of the most simplest ways, one of the most affordable, most effective, one of the most accessible ways for each and every one of us be able to take our health into our own hands by knowing our own tendencies. If you don't know thy tendencies, then you probably won't be able to circumvent some of these mistakes, okay? Throughout the live, and we'll get somebody to get in contact with you and give you the information that you need. If you're interested in your owner's manual, DM me, and we'll get you to somebody's gonna get out to you, okay? So now at the end of the day, what we've been teaching you guys is about Descension. We've been teaching you guys about how to marry the two. You remember the alchemical marriage. We've been showing you guys about the polarity recipe. We've been teaching you about masculine and feminine and higher and lower. And we've been teaching you about the good and the bad and the right and the wrong about you. We've been teaching you all of these different things about you for you to understand that ultimately the purpose is how to marry the two together and work in a one cohesive matter within yourself. That's what we've been teaching you, okay? But what I've discovered is that throughout all of the information that we've learned from our ancestors and from our historical aspects is that fundamentally there's something still missing. Fundamentally, with all the gurus, all the monks, all of the Jesuses, all of the saviors of the world, there was still something missing because of the translation of the particular I would say message that they're trying to get across. Okay, there's something lost in translation. That's why from Hebrew to this to that, you get something lost in translation. That's why if you can't articulate yourself or have emotional intelligence or have some kind of intelligence to be able to tell somebody how you're feeling, then guess what? It starts the stuff to get lost in translation. Or if I can't read you correctly, your body language, your real language, then things can get lost in translation. And so what happened is that they got to a point of where they were back in those days, okay? And so the two things that you were looking at, well, I'm going to say the one thing. First, I want to ask this question. What is the most special thing about Jesus? What is the most special thing about Horus? Or not Horus, but Isis, right? Or Isis and Osiris, okay? The biggest thing about these stories, you guys, was resurrection, okay? Resurrection is the biggest gift, okay? Resurrection didn't happen all the time, okay? So resurrection, Jesus raised Lazarus. Jesus came back alive. Isis was able to resurrect Osiris to have Horus. Right? So this resurrection is the actual gifting that we're all seeking and looking for. It is the specialness of the messenger to be able to resurrect you, to be able to get you from a dead particular state of being in order to be able to be alive again. Okay, so this resurrection is about a transformation. Somebody say transformation. Resurrection is transformation or transmutation of a particular situation. Transformation or transmutation of a particular situation. Okay? Transformation or transmutation of a particular situation. So now what my point to you is that this has always been the gift. Can you resurrect something? Okay? If you are a pastor, a bishop, if you are imam, if you are a rabbi, if you are a spiritual healer, if you're a shaman, if you are a sangoma, if you are if you are a Condurangas down there in South America, whatever you call yourself as a healer, the gift is, can you resurrect? Can you transform a situation? Can you transmute a particular condition? Can you be able to change the form of something coming into the paradigm where it met you at one end, but you transformed it after the meeting into another. And see, so what you got to understand is that this is always been the gift, resurrection. Okay, let's not get confused with what the gift is, resurrection. So the biggest thing about Jesus was that he could resurrect something. He could, it ain't just about diseases, because sangomas could change away certain diseases. You know, there were certain healers in Jesus' time that could do certain things. Herbalists were still back then. There were certain things that folk could do that Jesus was doing. There were certain things. Even you had a person by the name of Simon Bar Jesus. Y'all go look that up. Simon Bar Jesus was another sorcerer that could do damn near 90 to 95% of the stuff that Jesus could do. You could mistake the two, because Simon Bar Jesus was the one that they was talking about. That was the actual Jesus before Jesus. Simon Bar means B-A-R, Jesus. Simon Bar Jesus. That Bar also means about a middle name, where a lineage that you come from. Simon Bar Jesus. Look that up. Now, Simon Bar Jesus was a magician, a sorcerer, when Jesus was the Savior. But they could do damn near 90 something. So even Simon Bar Jesus said, shit, I know all the other tricks you were doing, but how the hell you resurrect? Go look it up. I want to know that magic trick. So the gifting that could be the one that is going to be the dividing line between if you got the power or not is if you have power of resurrection. Now, I just wanted to put that in your paradigm as we keep on moving on, okay? Remember that the gift is the resurrection, the transformation, the transmutation, okay? So now, what I want you to understand about what we're teaching people that has been lost in the sauce is ascension, okay? We are teaching people how to ascend, okay? Right or wrong? Somebody come on in the chat and let me know what's going on YouTube. Yes, sir. Your boy is back into the building. You already know, Emmanuel. I got to get back. We got to get back to business, all right? We got to get back to the business at hand, which is to unify people within and without them in this world, all right? So everybody knows that most folk, everybody teach you what? Ascension, okay? But there's a thing about being so spiritually high that you're no earthly good. Now, sometimes when we get too spiritually minded, you must understand that spiritual minded is a temporary state of being until you learn what we're teaching you today. Okay, spiritual minded is temporary. It comes and goes. It's on dopamine. We'll give you to a point to where you're so detached that we can't use the gift that you say you have. You're so detached that you can't teach it. You can't, nobody can understand you. You ever met somebody that is so high-minded, they're so out in space, they're so not getting a sustainability, a chronicness of it, a fundamental foundation of it, right? And so ascension is just this outer body experience. Ascension is the leaving of the body. Ascension is the escape route of the body. But see, the thing about it is that that's not the purpose. So the gurus of yesterday, the yogis of yesterday, they did a lot with the understanding of ascension, right? But at the end of the day, did ascension extend their life? Yes, it did. Did they be able to, do this and get to this spiritual enlightenment? Yes, they did. But at the same time, you must understand the real understanding. The gurus understood energy. Okay, how many of you understood this word? This is what we keep teaching, right? We keep teaching about energy. Everything is energy. Everything is frequency. Everything is this, because that is a old understanding. It doesn't mean that it's not real, it's not right, but it means that it's only impartiality. When are we going to evolve the information that they had? Remember that the whole gift is resurrection. Continue to understand the fundamental purpose. Remember, I don't chase disease, I chase death. I'm teaching you why. Okay, so now the gurus understood energy, but they did not get to understand regeneration. Okay, the gurus understood energy, but they did not get to understand regeneration. Okay, the gurus got to understand the spirit and the matter concept. But what happened is they divided the spirit and matter instead of being able to create a diagram that allows us to combine the spirit and the matter. So guess what? You can get so spiritually high that you leave the matter. But the concept ain't to escape, my little brothers and sisters, especially all my young people. It's not for you to leave the body. Ascension is a doctrine of leaving the present moment. That ain't what you really want to do. Let me keep tapping out, keep talking. The doctrine that you're reading is about leaving the body. That's a death consciousness to the physical. Now, I understand why when humans got to this concept of ascension, it was very important because it became an idea. It became I want to see, could I do it moment. It became the understanding of that, okay, the body ain't nothing, the lower self ain't nothing, and all this type of stuff. But you got to understand that we must marry, alchemical marriage. You must marry enlightenment. You must marry enlightenment with embodiment. Okay? Enlightenment must marry embodiment. If you're just enlightened, but you're not embodying the situation, if you're just being spiritually high, but no earthly good, if you're just talking about principle, but no practicality, then that's what we're going to get into the wrong thing about. Now, ascension, for all of you guys that are listening, don't understand that that's the root of your particular purpose. So that is coming from here. The only person who is an ascendant is a person who's starting from here, and your whole purpose is to go. So ascension is a root. It's a rudimentary. You thought you was getting some high shit. You thought you was getting higher knowledge because people are teaching you ascension. Ascension only appealing to your basic survival. Instinctful need is to go up, is to climb up. The etymology of ascension is to climb. So ascend means to climb upward. Okay. So at the end of the day, it's already a indicator of your positioning. If you're trying to ascend, that means you're at the bottom of the pool. That means that you're in your hellacious state. That means you're in your lower self. But what if I told you that if you keep saying that you are a spiritual being having human experiences, then your starting point is not at the root, but your starting point is at the crown. And then you'll understand that I ain't trying to be an ascendant. I'm not trying to be an ascender. I'm not trying to ascend, but my job is to Oh, that boy finna come with it today. Yes, sir. Because I got to get you to understand that what you're seeing and the reason why you ain't seeing resurrection is because there needs to be a correction in what you're reading and what you're learning about yourself. Resurrection has always been the dividing line between the magician and the savior. He said that you shall do greater works than me. Why? Because you're going to learn. You're going to get it. Okay. You're going to get it. And when you get it, you got it, you'll be good. Okay. So they knew energy, but they didn't know regeneration. And the great mistake is when you divide spirit and matter. Okay. The great mistake was dividing the spirit and the matter. But what your job really is to do is to try to get your spirit into the matter. So getting spirit into the matter goes from being a temporary thing to being a daily practical thing that you can live out. You putting your spirit back down into matter, and guess what the meeting place is going to be? In the middle. Spirit ain't got to leave its throne, and matter ain't got to leave its throne. But there is a meeting space, and it's called in the middle. Now, if you know astrology, then you know that the ascendant sign is when your sign meets the ecliptic of the sun. Okay, and so when your sign meets the ecliptic of the sun, they will call this the first house or whatever that's got to be, or if you guys are just interested in trying to get this, it would be if you know your time. Now, I don't need your time, but if you knew your time, then that's when you would get the ascendant sign of you. Now, ascendant. Let's look at ascension. Ascension means to climb upward. Okay? Ascend. Ascendant in astrology. Okay? What is these things mean? Okay? Ascend is to go upward, increase upward. Ascension means to climb upward. Ascendant. An ascendant is an ancestor. Okay? An ascendant is an ancestor. You're not an ascendant, so why you want to ascend? I'm going to teach y'all today. Okay? Ascendant and ascendant is your ancestor, a lot like your grandmother or grandparents, right? So we'll just say grandparents, et cetera, right? These are your close ancestors, your grandparents, your uncle, your auntie, you know what they call, okay? Your ancestors. Descendants. Your descendants is you. Your, okay? You get it? It's you. You are the descendants. So now when you understand something, you're not getting how you're reading the Bible and how you're reading the word. Quest. They were on a journey, okay, of being able to understand resurrection, you guys, okay? When you get a story throughout history that somebody can live eternity or that you can be resurrected, that became a very big fundamental principle, a very big sacred teaching, okay, of how to resurrect. All right? How to resurrect one's life, how to resurrect one's body became the talk of the town for centuries, which is why nowadays that science of resurrection, you call it spirituality, you call it religion, okay? But you must understand that the resurrection was not about ascension more than it was about descension. It was about the marriage of the two. The only way that you can actually get up is if you go in. Okay, the only way that you can get up, rise Lazarus, you got to go in. Remember that before Jesus, if you believe that text, before he raised Lazarus, it said Jesus wept. The shortest scripture in the Bible, which is the most poignant and the most powerful one, is how Jesus went inwardly with emotion to conjugate up the energy to resurrect something outside of him. So Jesus wept. It said that Jesus was compelled and had compassion in almost every verse before he did a miracle. Why? Because you got to go inward in order to go, And so what's happening is that this secret of alchemy is out now. But you must understand that ascension alone, just the message of ascension alone, is what you'll keep regurgitating from the old gurus. And I get it. You read Carl Jung and you read this man and that man. And so you're just regurgitating up the same old missing principle, which is why you've never seen a motherfucker living long or being resurrected. Why? Because the gift in a messenger, the gift in me is how I resurrect you. The gift in Dr. Sabi was that he resurrected people. And so the power of the person that you're looking for will have resurrective power. And that means that that's going to be a formula that he knows how to use in this particular paradigm to transmute and transform his situation as long as with somebody else's situation for them. It's so powerful that you can check. So it said she touched the hem of the garment, but did you not know that the helmsman is the emotions? It's the helmsman. It drives on water, is the navigator of the boat. So when you're touching the helm, you're touching the direction, you're touching the correction, you're touching the navigation for your situation. And so when you got a problem with the blood, the woman had a flood problem. She had a water problem. So if you got a water problem, why not go to the one that can drive on the water? She had an issue with the blood. That's a water problem. So she went to the helmsman, the one who can drive on water, the one who understands the water principles. That's why he was a fisher of men. That's why he did all the miracles of 2 loaves and 2 fish, and that's why he said cast your net on the right side. And that's why when the storm came, he didn't rock the boat, and that's why he was able to walk on the water, because he was a water navigator. He was a waterman. He was the aquaman, and so water he knew. So when a woman come with the issue of blood, you went to the right person. Okay, somebody who knew the waters. Somebody who was able to descend. It said that he descended from heaven. Nobody's talking about ascending from the earth. There's no message out there that's really teaching you about ascending from the earth. Why would you want to leave earth when the thing is about it is to conduct yourself on earth with spirit being a nation? Why? Because what we're trying to do is get you from individuality to what? Wholeness. So this is self. This is wholeness. Okay? This is wholeness. That's why we put the world up there. This is individuality. And it's okay to be a little bit of each, but you must get into the middle. There must be a meeting in the middle, okay, where you understand that there's going to be times for a little individuality, but also there's going to be time for wholeness. There's going to be time for community, right? There's going to be time for interpersonal situations that's going on. And so you'll understand that this is the way forward. How do I conduct myself in a wholeness every single day? And in order for you to understand that, some of us must get the theory of this. If you are a spirit being operating in a human body, then you need to learn descension, not ascension. If you are a child of God, if you are a part of the most high system, if you're the high consciousness on the planet, if you believe that you have a high, if you believe that you're this and you're that, then you must learn descension, not ascension. You must learn descension, not ascension. It's time for you to learn how to put it all together. It's time for you to learn how to put it all in practicality. It's time for you to learn how to walk into it daily instead of just in spurts every now and then trying to teach from the temporary state of consciousness. Now we want you to be able to teach from the permanent state of consciousness, which means that you must learn how to marry the two. Okay, how to marry the two. So in your owner's manual, we're trying to get this down to you in the soul and the core of who you are. Okay, of who you are. So this descendant. So remember that the descendant. Now remember that the ascendant is the ancestors, but the descendant is you. So why would you want to be an ancestor? If I'm trying to be an ascendant, then why would I want to be my ancestors? No, it is time for me to be you. You are the spiritual being in this time. And so you need to be the descendant. That's what you are. So now when we're talking about the genealogy of Adam and we're talking about this, we're talking about the descendants. We are the descendants of Adam, the descendants of Jesus. We are the descendants of these people. Know that you're not an ascendant if you're alive. You are not an ancestor. You are you. You are here. You are a descendant. So you got to act like you're a descendant. That means that an ascendant is who you're trying to become, but the descendant is what completes you. You are so my children is a descendant of me. I got something that I'm trying to become, which is my ancestors. I get that. I'm trying to become my ancestors. So you say, well, you're trying to become an ancestor. You're trying to become an ascendant. I get what you're saying there. But a descendant is your present state. You ain't an ancestor yet. So you're not an ascendant. If you're listening to me at the sound of my voice right now, the person that you are right now is a descendant. You're not an ascendant. Okay? But you're on a journey because the descendant is, again, the descendant is going to be what completes you. The descendant is the relationship that you want and need. Everything is in your descendant, but you don't know your ascendant. So that's where time and ascendant and descendant comes into play. Okay, but now understanding this on a more normal scale without astrology in it is that okay, that gives me a lot of perspective. The ascendant is the root chakra of me, the basic instinct of me, and the descendant is going to be the crown chakra. And so all I got to do now is marry the two in the middle, and that's where my coherence is going to be. That's where the peace is at. That's where my giftings is at. That's where my everybody you've ever heard is teaching you about what consciousness and energy and frequency and the light codes and this, that, and the third, because that's still old ass stuff. But guess what? That shit ain't resurrected, and that hasn't allowed anybody to have everlasting life, because that alchemy is missing a particular dynamic. And so therefore that's why Buddha was got spiritual enlightenment, but they couldn't come back to the body to tell you. That's why you have all these other people that got the spiritual enlightenment, but at the sacrifice of the matter. And that's the wrong teaching. You don't have to sacrifice your body to have a spiritual experience. And you don't have to sacrifice your spirit to have a physical experience. The physical body and the spiritual body must marry one another and operate in a oneness and create a new thing. Okay, create a baby. That spiritual body and that physical body, when they meet in love, they create a new baby. They create a new coherence. They create a new light, a new energy. They create a new force. And that's what you need when you're sick. That's what you need when you're lost. That's what you need when you are financially going through or distraught. And so every day poverty is beating at your door. Every day sickness is beating down your door. Every day loneliness or the threat of it is always there around the corner. And so you keep coming in with all this stuff. That's what? That's going to be what they call sending the body to slaughter, right? Because that's a physical drudgery they have to do. Always have that going on. Let's say we get slaughtered daily, right? So you got poverty, you got loneliness, and you got all these things, sickness, always beating down your door. What are you going to do? And you work off spiritual spurts instead of off of spiritual consistency. And when you're working off spiritual spurts instead of spiritual consistency, then sometimes you run out of gas in the time of need. But that spiritual spurt is also a biological indicator of that you're running off of what? Neurotransmitters, and you're running off of these endocrine glands and all this in spurts, but not with a consistency that will keep you in a homeostatic condition. And so what without you is within. What's indicative of what's going on in your outer world is indicative of what's going on in your inner world. And we can tell all by your birthday. We can tell you this all by your birthday, okay? All by your birthday. And so this is real stuff right here, you guys. Hold on real quick. Let's see if I got some receipts for you. You guys keep tapping. I'll keep talking. You keep tapping. I will keep on talking. Let's go and get there. How many of you guys are enjoying the message? Put some ones in the chat if y'all are enjoying the message. Put some ones in the chat if you are enjoying the message, whether you're on YouTube or TikTok. I want to make sure that I'm talking to the folk that I need to be talking to, okay? So here we go. Obstruction, power, and vitality. The obstruction is always going to be the force of resistance, okay? That's needed, okay? That's needed, all right? That is needed. That ain't something that's not needed. That's needed. So I need a little obstruction. I need a little force of resistance, okay? And the power is always going to be the force of creation, okay? The force of creation is the power, okay? So that's how much power you got to have in you. And then vitality is going to be the result of the two, all right? Vitality is the result of the two. All right, this vitality and this whole particular equation is a very important thing because it's teaching you about how to work the alchemy. Okay, Transcendence. Transcendence is this ascension message. Okay? You can't keep trying to escape the body, young people. Okay? You can't keep trying to transcend the senses. Okay? You must understand how this go. So instead of trying to escape the body, let's start transmutation, which is starting to integrate. You need an integrative system, which is why the owner's manual is probably the top. Well, I ain't gonna say probably. I'm gonna stop saying probably. It is the #1 natural-based health assessment system on the planet because we integrate everything. Remember that this is new stuff, not old. That's why you guys are learning. That's why there's so many people on here every day. That's why the YouTube and everything is shooting through the roof, because people are learning something new. It's a new way, a new thing, right? And I ain't no teacher if I don't teach you something new. It's the integrative thing about the owner's manual, which makes it more powerful. So now you have the embrace and the regenerative properties of the body. So instead of escaping the body, no, I'm going to embrace what's going on and regenerate the body. Instead of transcending the senses, no, I'm going to harmonize the senses with the spirit. Instead of trying to get my spirit to ascend, no, I'm going to get my spirit to descend. I'm going to learn how to come down into the body and live within the thing. That's what they talked about with Jesus, right? God came down into the form of a flesh and lived amongst the humans. That's your job. I'll keep trying to tell y'all, man, the message is about descension. It's not about ascension. Ascension is a message of a sinner, of a low life that don't know where they at, that will be perceived as being in a hellacious, in a death consciousness. Yeah, as long as you're in a death consciousness, as long as you inhale, you would walk toward a message that says climb up the ladder. And if I convince you that you inhale, then the next message is to convince you that you need to climb up. If I can convince you that you're in your lower state, that you're in your death consciousness, then the next message is to teach you how to come up out of that. But what if that whole thing is true? What if you just needed to understand that you're in your most highest condition that you could ever be in this human experience, and that what you need to learn is how to descend? Most of us are out here egotistical. Remember that this is also talking about that too, right? So ascension is your ego. Your ego lies in your lower self. You remember that this is about you, self. And you get stuck in that as a pastor or imam or anybody, and you just get stuck in the basic instincts of the animalistic instincts of self and survival. Okay? But with obstruction, power, and result, these are necessary to get a result. If you don't have no obstruction, you can't get the result. If you don't have no power, you can't get the result that you're looking for. So when you get an obstruction, understand that now you have the ingredients for a particular thing to happen for you. Okay, so don't look at suffering as a problem. Look at suffering as a necessary ingredient to the result that you're needing. Don't look at poverty as the problem, but poverty is an obstruction, and you got to have the power. And when you got the willpower and you got a challenge, then the result should go in your favor. When you have an ingredient here, and then I got willpower, then I got a challenge on my hand to create a new result. And this is the same thing as this descension and the ascension meeting in the middle. That heart coherence is this vitality. So when you have obstruction and you got power, when they meet in the middle, it gives you a new result. So your obstruction is disease. Where's your willpower? So your obstruction is that you're lonely. Where's your willpower? So your obstruction is that you are financially distraught. Where's your willpower? We got the obstruction, but do we got your power? And when you got both of them, you can create a different result for your life. We know this, and we use this in your owner's manual as the recipe for success. But this is not just the recipe for success in herbs, and in that, this is the recipe for success in life. Okay? The challenge is necessary. Thank you, nature mystic. If you don't have a disease, how you gonna ever get healing? How anybody gonna ever experience healing if you've never been sick? How anybody ever going to experience rich if you ain't been poor? Listen to what I'm saying. If you came into the paradigm rich, then you don't know what poor is. If you come into the paradigm poor, then you get to know the two dynamics. You have an opportunity to know the two dynamics. That don't mean that you will, but you got an opportunity to experience both ends. Okay? And it's all about opportunity at every waking moment of your life. Good day, everyone in the family. Yes, contrast makes things clear to us. Yes, it's polarity makes it more powerful. Polarity makes it more powerful. Okay, polarity gives you the thing that you need to make it more powerful. Now, I wanna bring this up really quick because I want to walk through this. Let me see if I can pull this up. You guys give me a second. Keep tapping. I'll keep talking. You guys keep tapping. I will keep on talking. Okay. I want to pull this up to you because I want you guys to see how important resurrection, the gift, really was, and how important polarity and the alchemy was to our people in the past. And if you didn't understand this particular paradigm, then this is where you can falter. All right? Affordable ways to heal ourselves. So somebody go to 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter, real quick. Matter of fact, pull that up from the 1 Corinthians 15 on your phone. I need to read that. I ain't even gonna do it from the computer, from the YouTube. I might do it from here. Let's see.
Now, brothers,
Yeah.
I want to remind you of the gospel I preached to you, which you received, and on which you have taken
the resurrection, the gift.
By this gospel, you are saved, if you hold firmly to the word I preached to you. Otherwise, you have believed.
This is the New International
Version. What I received, I passed on to you as of first importance.
1 Corinthians, verse 15.
Our sins, according to the scriptures, that he was buried, that he was raised on the third day, according to the scriptures.
He was raised,
and that he appeared to Peter,
and then to the 12.
After that, he appeared to more than 500 of the brothers at the
same time,
most of whom are still living,
though some have fallen asleep.
Then he appeared to James, then to all the apostles. And last of all, he appeared to me also.
The gift of resurrection.
Abnormally born. For I am the least of the apostles, and do not even deserve to be called an apostle, because I persecuted the church of God.
Watch this.
But by the grace of God, I am what I am.
So anytime you hear the word grace dead, it's going to be the body. The word dead means body.
Yet not I, but the grace of God that was with me. What?
So let me pause this real quick because I want to get y'all some reference. The word dead means body. Okay, somebody put that in the chat. The word dead equals body in this text. Okay, the word dead equals body in this text. I'm going to teach you that they were teaching about the alchemical understanding of resurrection. The alchemical understanding of how to resurrect. That was the whole power. You cannot be a messenger or savior if you don't know how to resurrect, right? That's the gift. Now watch this. Okay. Christ in this particular thing is going to mean what? Spirit. Okay. Dead means body. Christ means spirit. Now, every time he says that, watch, now read the story, and it goes like this.
This is what
it said, but if it, this is verse 12. But if it is preached that Christ, that spirit, has been raised from the body. Okay. This is verse 12. How can some of you say that there is no resurrection of the body? This is verse 12. Listen to this. But if it is preached that spirit has been raised from the body, so if it's been preached that somebody could raise the spirit from the body, it's been taught you raise your spirit from the body, then why is it that some of you say that there's no resurrection of the body? If you could raise the spirit, surely you could raise the body. Now keep on. All right. Now, verse 13. If there is no resurrection of the body, then not even spirit has been raised. So now, if you can't raise the body, then shit, I don't believe that the spirit can be raised. This Paul talking about the resurrection of the spirit. Get what I'm going somewhere. I'm going somewhere with you because I'm trying to get you to learn that this is in this thing and you're not getting it. Okay? So now, verse 14. And if spirit has not been raised, our preaching is useless. More than that, we are then found to be false witnesses about God, for we have testified about God. So it's about resurrection. If I can't raise you from the dead physically, everlasting life now, a person walking around here that cannot die, you don't understand what I'm trying to get you to see. And if it's not true that I can heal you, but if it is true that I can raise you in the spirit, then by dogging, I can raise your body too. If I can raise your spirit,
and this is what you believe. But if it is preached that Christ has been raised from the dead, how can some of you say that there is no resurrection of the dead? If there is no resurrection of the dead, then not even Christ has been raised.
Exactly.
And if Christ has not been raised,
if there's no resurrection, then Christ ain't been raised.
And so is your faith. More than that, we are then found to be false witnesses of God. For we have testified about God that he raised Christ from the dead. But he did not raise him, if in fact the dead are not raised. For if the dead are not raised, and if Christ has not been raised, your faith is futile. You are still in your sins.
And if your spirit has not been raised, your faith is futile, and you are still in your lower self.
Then those also who have fallen asleep in Christ are lost.
Then those also who have fallen asleep in the spirit are also lost.
If only for this life we have put Christ, we are to be pitied more than all men. But Christ has indeed been raised from the dead, the first fruits of those who have fallen asleep.
All right, now there you go. It said for actual religious doctrine of today that you can raise the spirit from the body. But what we're not seeing is people raising the body up. Now, keep on.
As in Adam all die, so in Christ all will be made alive.
For as in Adam all die, so in spirit all will be made alive. Okay?
But each in his own turn. Christ, the first fruits, then those who belong to him, the end will come. When he hands over the kingdom to God the Father, after he has destroyed all dominion, authority, and power. For he must reign until he has.
Now, this to me, when we get this understanding, when we get this embodiment, when we're able to get this duty, then it says that's when the end will come. Why? Because that's when you reach the purpose. Course is over. That's when the earth scooped it. That's when you have graduated, because that's when you got the mind of Christ. That's when you have transformed into this new being. That's when you are a new being. That's when you are what God has presented you to be. And so once we lesson of being able to turn this everything into practicality, once we get the understanding of how to turn this thing into a marriage, I'm walking every day with spirit into matter. I'm using spirit and matter in this so that matter is cohesive, so that matter has a current, so that matter now is smart, just like me, and I can then be able to now unify that collective consciousness with matter and move in a different direction. True ascension is descension. True ascension is learning how to descend from your high state. Okay? True ascension is descension. Okay? So you'll see that this has always been the little thing. Okay? It's always been the little thing. And we still ain't finished. I'm going to keep going. You guys keep tapping. I'll keep talking. I'm only showing you guys this because it is very important for you to, when you're talking about the owner's bank.
For he put everything under his feet. Now when it says that everything has been put under him, It is clear that this does not include God himself, who put everything on Christ. When he has done this, then the Son himself will be made subject to him, who put everything under him.
So put it on YouTube, you guys, so I don't have to continue to keep teaching this now. We can just go start learning, okay? And as you can see that the YouTube don't want me to do it either, we're going to do it. YouTube, you can't stop nothing. And TikTok, you didn't start nothing, okay? All right? YouTube, you can't stop nothing. And TikTok, you didn't start nothing. All right, let's get it, okay? So now, if there is no resurrection, what will those do who are baptized for the what? The dead, right? So remember I told you that dead is body. I don't know why I erased that. Okay, dead is body. Christ is equal to spirit. Now let's read it with these words. Now, if there is no resurrection, what will those do who are baptized for the body? If the body are not raised at all, then why are people baptizing it? Because when you get baptized, you get baptized symbolically as a resurrection, down in the water and then resurrected back up. So if there is no real resurrection, then why are we getting baptized with our body? Why are we baptizing the body for if there is no resurrection? Because the baptism is going to be a signature of resurrection. Dumping in the water and resurrecting you back out is the symbolism of resurrection. So if you can't really heal people, if you can't really raise the dead, that's what they keep trying to tell me. Oh, you should just be fake. You should just chase disease. Don't try to chase death. Everybody got to die. And you missed it. This is the real messengers, not dying. Everlasting life is the true message. If you got to find a minister that's telling you anything else, it's not a minister of God. Everlasting life. Okay, and so then verse 30 says this. That's why I'm showing you guys this, because it's in, but you're not being taught it.
As for us,
it's the secret sacred science of everlasting life.
I die every day. I mean that, brothers. Just as surely as I glory over you in Christ Jesus our Lord.
Paul said, I die every day.
In Ephesus, for merely human reasons, what have I gained? If the dead are raised.
He said, if I fought wild beasts in Ephesus, this is verse 32. This is Corinthians 15, verse 32. If I fought wild beasts in Ephesus for merely human reasons, what have I gained? If the body can't be raised, let us eat and drink, for tomorrow we die. If we can't believe that we can be resurrected, then why the hell is we living for? You understand that? So that is the sombernism of life. Because you've been fed this death consciousness, you're coming into life with this weariness, this dreariness, this depression already, because some shit done told you that this gonna end one day, and so you can't get the best out of it no more because it's gonna end. So it is what it is. We all gotta die. You'll be magnetically, you'll conjugated up and you're formulated into your life, because they said that you got to do this, you got to go through this, that this death is a part of life, which is a conundrum. It can't be. Death can't be an end, can't be any part of everlasting. But ain't nobody teaching you this, but you think you're learning it on Sundays.
Let us eat and drink.
It said, don't be misled.
Do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. Come back to your senses as you ought, and stop sinning. For there are some who are ignorant of God.
Ignorant.
I say this to your shame.
Now here goes verse 35, the resurrection body.
Who are the dead raised? With what kind of body?
But someone may ask, who are the bodies raised? With what kind of body will they come back? Because you thinking that it's a different body, but watch this.
What you sow does not come to life unless it dies. When you sow, you do not plant the body that will be, but just a seed, perhaps of wheat or of something else. But God gives it a body as he has determined, and to each kind of seed he gives its own body. All flesh is not the same.
All flesh is not the same.
Men have one kind of flesh, animals have another, birds another, and fish another. There are also heavenly bodies, and there are earthly bodies, but the spirit.
right? It's just synchronicity, is linking everything together. There's an underlying message in everything that's also running you into the same direction. So whether it's comedic, Christianity to me is neither one. It's me understanding this stuff in a 360-degree peripheral. And when you reading stuff and now you're learning and you're looking at it for 360 degrees and you're not trying to join a team. I'm not trying to be no traditional African medicine man. I ain't trying to be no Ayurvedic. I'm not trying to go join the team of traditional Chinese medicine men. I'm not trying to join the team of Western herbalism, but I'm trying to join the team of humanism and collectively understand how they connect. And when you're always trying to find the connection, then that's what will be revealed. And the connection in us all is our heart. So what you got to understand is that when you're going through poverty, sickness, loneliness, distraught, trauma, drama, whatever it is in life, that you got to be able to calm the center you. You got to be able to get centered. And when you get centered, and it doesn't matter how you lie out your mouth. You can tell people you good all day, but the heartbeat inside of you tells you good, not your lips. The heartbeat inside of you tells you good, not your lips. Your lips tell me good, but your heartbeat tells you good. And sometimes you can say I'm all right out here in the lips, but the heartbeat says something different. And so it is in this heart coherence which we need to understand, because it is the dividing line, or it is the mediator between the gut brain axis, right? The gut brain, the heart is the middle. Okay, the gut brain, if you're looking at the brain and the feet, the heart is in the middle. So that coherence has to be good. So that singing, that laughing, that dancing, that hugging and crying and massaging and touching that we teach you about is because we're trying to get you to control the heart coherence. And when we get you to control your heart variability rate, your HVR, then you'll understand that that's when you're in control of the particular dynamic going on in your internal environment. Okay, so this is what they've been trying to do: raise the spirit and raise the body. Okay, and you can do this simultaneously with your owner's manual. Okay, you can do this simultaneously. Somebody said, "Man, you strong. I appreciate you, my brother. Appreciate you, my sister." Okay, now it's a 360-degree perspective on life, where we're not trying to join the league. We're just understanding that the league that we belong to is humanity. That's it. Nothing else do we need to join past that. Okay, humanity is all we need. And so there's a meeting spot in this middle, right? And that meeting spot is what we call the heart coherence. Okay, and the heart coherence, something new will come out of here, that new thing. Okay, that new thing comes out of there, right? So that's how you transmute. So now if I take my worldview and my self-view and marry them, I get a new thing. If I take the way that I look at me as an individual, and then the way that I look at relationships, and I marry them, and I get a new thing. You see, if I take my sickness and then I take my mind, my healing, and I marry them, I get a new thing. If I take my poverty and then I take my brain to get to this bread and I marry them, I get a new thing. If I take my state of right now I ain't got no man, I ain't got no woman, I'm just out here by myself. Okay, that's my present state, but it's not my present mind. So if my present mind is I'm going to get a family, my present state is that I'm lonely. I'm going to marry the two and get a new thing. You get this concoction in your owner's manual. Herbs, foods, everything that you need in the owner's manual for a funky measly $50. If you guys are interested, please DM us and we'll get you the information that you need. Any questions thus far? Any questions? What's going on? Thank you. Any questions thus far? Descension. Okay? Descension. So that we can meet at the heart and marry the problem. Marry the situation, and we get a new result from what we're looking for. Okay? We got to meet in the middle. We don't want you to come all the way down, and we don't need for you to go all the way up. We need for you to meet in the middle. That means that you must have a particular renewed sense of love for life. a love for life in order to change your situation. If you've been molested, raped, if you've been abused in any kind of way, that's not okay. But we need for you to meet in the middle, right? We need for you to bring all of that to the middle and let's discard it. Let's get it out. Okay? Let's discard it and let's get it out through love rituals. How you are the only way you're going to get it out is through love ritual. You've been loved on wrong. You've been touched on wrong. We got to teach you how to be touched right. Teach you how to be loved right, so that you can just start to dissipate the wrong touching, the wrong loving, the forceful, aggressive type of stuff. No, you all this stuff got to come when you want it, but it has to start back at the thing that it destroyed. So the molestation and the rape and the abuse destroyed your heart, and so that's where we got to start. That's the place to start at. That's why we ask you questions about your love life. We ask you questions about your goals and aspirations, because if you put a goal in your heart and you ain't reached it, that can cause traumatic events. If you put love in your heart and you ain't reached it, that can cause traumatic events. If you put family in your heart and ain't reached it, if you put long life in your heart and didn't reach it, or can't reach it, or feel like you ain't gonna reach it, that can cause distraughtness, that can cause stress on the body and the mind. And then next thing you know, that is going to be directly opposite of what we need in your time of healing. Any questions? Any questions? Go ahead and let us know. Any questions? Okay. So this heart coherence is where the owner's manual is starting to teach people about, and this descending is what we're trying to teach. I've been trying to sign up and go through. I'm not able to confirm my email. All right, let's see. If you got problems with stuff, then that's your problem, Angelica. Okay. Ain't nothing else I can do but send you the email. So I don't know what's going on. All right. Anybody else? Who's down here? Kai Zach, what's happening? HerbMan shows up.
Yo, what's up, broski? Hey, how did you raise your Christ oil, Brody? Like, how you know when you messed it up and shit, though? You know.
What you mean? How you
Your
know?
Christ conscious. You know they say that seed that's supposed to rise.
Yeah. So how you know is when you're walking in your wholeness, when you're walking in your fullness. Okay. So that's the only indicator. The only indicator for this is when you're walking in your wholeness and in your fullness. So when you say that wholeness and that fullness, that's a oneness. That's a aura. It's a, it's a particular type of consciousness and state of being that you're in. For me personally, it's the present moment, the present state. Like your ability to be in the present moment. If you can string along that consciously over and over and over and over again, then that's when you're basically living with your spirit into matter. So it's almost like, remember what I just said, that we do this, but we do it in spurts instead of doing it consistently on the daily. So how you know is when every day, bro, you're just, the spirit is in the matter. Every day you've reached it. And so how you do that, how it looks is this. So I'm gonna shorten it for you so you can see. This is how it looks. So you can get a kind of a better understanding of what we. That's how it looks, my brother.
Okay.
You see,
bro, I had went on like a fruit fast for like 40 days and did that shit by mistake.
Yeah.
My whole body started vibrating. I got scared, and I had went to the grocery store. I mean, my mama dropped me out. I went to the grocery store and ate a whole bunch of cashews, but my whole head was my body. Every breath I took, it felt like my body was just warming up.
Yeah, so a lot of us are trying to do it that way. That's the old way. Don't sacrifice the body for the spirit. Okay? Remember that. That's what I'm trying to teach y'all. You see, that's why I said Descension. Don't sacrifice the body for the spirit, because guess what? Yes, the gurus did do what you did. So yeah, they did get enlightenment. They did get extended life. Don't get it wrong now. But guess what though? Because they didn't concentrate on regenerative when it comes to your DNA at your cellular level. See, so you can be as spiritually high as you want to, but if your ass is not healthy, you're gonna die still, my brother. And that means to me, that means to me that you failed the test. Everybody who dies fails the test. The test is everlasting life. Can you live forever in this paradigm? That's the purpose.
Okay, now.
You
Appreciate
see?
you, brother.
Yes, sir. Peace, peace. All right. So that's what we're trying to get y'all to understand. You can get spiritually high all you want to, and you can get physically weak all you want to. You're gonna die just like everybody else, which means that your claim to having this regenerative, resurrective type of theoretical diet or theoretical way of life is not true. It doesn't work. The only one that has worked has been the one that has been able to marry the alchemical marriage, the two together, and create this resurrective power. Okay? That's the only one who does it, is the person who knows how to create that alchemical balance. When life is going up, they know how to create the alchemical structure to put their life back on balance. So it ain't all about what you say, sometimes it's about what you do. It ain't always about what you do, sometimes it's about what you say. And all of that is creating this alchemical soup of ingredients. Now, the thing about it is, how did that soup taste? When you look at your life today, people who are in prison, I've been to prison, I've been to jail several times. When I look at that, I've always done things to end up at that. You know, you could see the song of my life. The song of my life was a jail song. So I ended up in jail. When I was the song, when I was concentrating on love, the song of my life was love. So I started falling in and out of love, right? Because you're creating the melodies to the music of your life. Every decision, every action you take, every decision you make is creating the melodic rhythm to your life. So if you are creating a chaotic ass life, then you're creating a chaotic ass song, then you know the result of chaos. If you're creating this music with every decision you make, then we know the song of your life. We know the algorithms of what's going to come up. And if you got a fucked up ass choices you making, there's some fucked up algorithms that's going to come up in your life. If you're having these things come up that you're doing, that you're making decisions in, things that you're saying to people, things that you're doing to people, things that you're thinking about people, then guess what? The algorithms are going to come back your way because you're setting the algorithm, just like how you're scrolling through your phone right now. If you stop on me long enough, more people like me gonna keep coming up. So if you stop on thoughts like me long enough in your life, more thoughts like me gonna keep coming up in your life. It's your brain. Your life is like social media. If you keep scrolling, if you stop on me long enough, more of me will pop up. Not just me, but more people talking like me. And so that's just like your thoughts. If you stop on drinking long enough, then not only will alcohol come up, but Hennessy will come up. Budweiser will come up. But ice will come up. Which brand you want to drink? Do you want to go to the bar to do it or the liquor store? Or do you just want to stop at the gas station? All of these things will come up because you stop for a minute on these thoughts. So if you think you're going to die, you stay there long enough. And you will. Just that simple. Okay? Anybody got anything else? You guys keep tapping. I'll keep talking. Please keep tapping. I'll keep talking. We got about 36 more minutes with you guys. Okay, let's get us up to 100K. Let's get us up to 100K. We got about 36 more minutes with you guys. All right. So understanding that Descension is the key will allow us to be able to transcend a lot better. All right. And I'm gonna give you guys the ass end of this, what we call the benediction, and then we up out of here, man. I'm gonna give y'all the benediction, and then we up out of here. But in the meantime, in between time, if you guys got questions, please feel free to let us know. Okay? Let us know. Let us know. So the owner's manual is all about integration. Okay? We're integrating things that were lost out in nature, things, the information that was lost, all these things we are basically integrating. Okay. And so integration is the biggest key to everything that we're doing. Okay. And so like when you're talking about descension, descending, okay, then you gotta watch your overthinking. Okay. Okay. When you're talking about descending from the mind to the heart, because that's all you need to get to. You don't need to go all the way down from here to here or from here to here. So when you're talking about descending from the mind to the heart, Then overthinking, okay? Watching your head thoughts. That's what we just talked about. The mind is very loud. The body is tense. Emotions can get scattered. You're reacting more than responding. And remember that we want to have a slow response, not a quick reaction, okay? So we're going to be watching out overthinking, okay? Next, you want to notice the body, okay? Notice your body. Notice how your breath slows down. Attention drops from the brain to the chest. You begin to feel instead of think. These are all stages of basically what? Calming you down and getting you to kind of start to slow your response. Okay? Slow your response on these things, because in reality, you guys, the heart is the bridge. Okay? The heart is the bridge to all this type of stuff. Okay? And so, yes, the truth is descending into the heart, not ascending into thought. We don't want you to escape into ideas any longer, my young people. It's not about ascending into thought and trying to escape into ideas. This is not about staying in the upper chakras, but this is about understanding how to bridge, how to marry the two, the meeting point, the integration zone, the command center, the regulator, the mediator, the doorway to coherence. You say you want meditations, right? So that's what I'm saying. You say you want medication, but you got to understand meta means the middle. Okay, the middle man is Jesus. The middle man is the mediator is Jesus, but the mediator in your body is your heart. Medications is what you're taking, but you don't need medications to play the middle man. You need to learn how to meditate in the heart. Meditate in the heart coherence. So the heart becomes the medication. The heart becomes the meditation. The heart becomes the middleman. The heart becomes the remedy. Okay? It's the bridge. Okay? It is the place where your two minds finally can operate in a one intelligence. Okay? And that's what we've been teaching you guys. Okay? That's what we've been teaching you guys. And when you do this from a biological standpoint, when you do this, remember that this is your medication. This heart coherence, this heartbeat slowing down, instead of talking about it with your mouth, we're going to talk about it with our heart. Okay? Instead of trying to tell people and convince people that you are all right with your lips, you got to convince your body that you are all right with your heart. You got to convince your cells that they are okay. And it ain't with lip service. It's with heart service. Okay? Now that singing, laughing, dancing is so important because it controls the, and this is going to lower inflammation. It's going to improve your immune function. This stabilizes hormones. It reduces chronic stress. It increases the parasympathetic answer or repair. It improves sleep cycles. It slows your aging. It improves emotional health. This literally strengthens your relationships, and it increases resilience. What more could you ask for from a natural-based health assessment, from a natural-based health understanding and program? There is no panacea product, but there is a panacea program. And we believe the owner's manual to be that health assessment for you, okay? And you must understand that when you're descending, that calms the heart, okay? And when you're calming the heart, then now you have a coherent field. When you got a coherent field, you got a stable biology. Bottom line, all of them working in one rhythm. And guess what, you guys? That's integration. And that's what the owner's manual is. Integration. Okay? All right, we got about 30 more minutes with you guys. Okay, so with that being said, that's what we're trying to get you to do. So descending. When I say descending, people can be like, well, what you really mean by descending? Descending can mean grounding. Okay, a lot of us need to be grounded. Okay, descending can also mean emotional integration. Okay, not emotional intelligence, but emotional integration. Okay, could be a very good sign of descending. Okay, nervous system regulation is descending, right? Your nervous system being regulated. All right. What else we got? Embodiment. Remember that it's about embodiment. Embodiment is also a sign of dissension. Okay. Embodiment. And then living in your truth. Instead of thinking truth, you're living in truth. A lot of us get caught up in the thought of truth, right? You know good things, you can speak good things, but you may not be living them. And you know, that's always been a tough task for myself as well. But that's what we got to navigate toward, living the truth instead of thinking the truth, right? Living in truth, overthinking truth, which is a very big thing for a lot of us, okay? Living in the truth instead of just thinking it, okay? So the true path is descending, okay? The true path is ascending. So your ascending is yourself, the descending is the balance, okay? The descending is what you actually desire. It's the life you want. You just got to go and get it, baby, okay? You just got to go and get it. So your ascending is your natural way of approaching life, and that's why ascension it kind of just it just kind of shines out for you, right? Because ascension is your natural way of approaching life, but descending is the qualities you must integrate, and the heart is the journey from instinct to wholeness. So from your basic instinct to wholeness, you go on this journey. And it's okay that your natural way of approaching life is ascending, but you must understand that descending is the qualities you must integrate in that life. Okay? It's the qualities you must integrate in that life. So there's some of us who have different things going on within us, where you could be the dreamer and the grounder. Like if you're a Pisces Virgo. A Pisces Virgo is the dreamer and the grounding healer. Right? But that relationship lesson is what? Embodiment and clarity. You got to know that. The shadow of that is escapism. You got to know that. And you can only know that with your owner's manual. Okay? You can only know that with your owner's manual. Okay? You can only know these things with your owner's manual you got. So if you guys are interested, please holler at your homie HerbMan. Experience Descension, join the game. Yeah, you already know, man. We appreciate all the love, man. Any other questions thus far? What y'all guys don't know, need to know, because otherwise we're about through here. Okay. So the real secret is the qualities you seek in relationships are the quality through the life lesson cycle. Okay. The ascending is about the authenticity of the being of who you are, but the descending is about the compatibility. So you got to marry authenticity to the compatibility in order to get you the new thing. And it's okay. You just got to learn how to do it. Okay? You got to learn how to do it. They work together. They must be integrated. These things are one system. They're not opposites, but complements. Okay? They're not opposites, but complements. So again, when you're looking at the I am, which is the ascending mentality, then you also got to look at the we are, which is the descending mentality. We are. And you marry the I am to the we are, the self to the world. When you're looking at self-expression, that's fine. But you also must marry that with relationship growth, okay? When you're looking at individualism, you can marry that to interpersonal. When you're looking at identity, that's okay. Marry that to balance. When you're looking at strengthening authenticity, that's fine. But integrate that with the missing qualities. When you're looking at the ego defenses, that's fine. But marry that with projection and attraction patterns. When you're looking at your personal power, that's fine. But marry that with wholeness through union. The integration is all we're talking about. Integrating, the understanding. So now that you're learning descending qualities, now you understand how to marry the two. Okay? You understand how to marry the two. Because your descending is what's going to complete you. So I'm also ready to pay my funky measly. Just DM us. Okay? You DM us and we can get you your owner's manual. DM us and we can get you your owner's manual. Okay? All we need is your birthday. Your birthday holds the most information about you on the planet. Okay, and that's going to also allow us to undergo our system, which is cosmology mixed with biology. Okay, so all of this stuff that we've been teaching you guys is going to heal you. Okay, this is the body spirit balance. This is your nervous system and your hormonal coherence. This is going to be the breath and the rhythms of how we create things in our life. The singing, laughing, dancing, we create these rhythms. Remember that we're changing the song of our life, and we're creating our own algorithm. Okay, so this is going to also be a stable heart and brain axis. This is going to reduce inflammation and toxicity in our life. This is going to help us have a healthy circadian rhythm, okay, and sleep cycles. This is going to provide longevity through oxytocin and telomere protection. So this is not just a psychological approach to life, but it's trying to teach you about this psychological approach and the massive influence it'll have on your biological coherence. And I can't teach it no better. If you guys are interested in your owner's manual, please DM us and we'll get you the information that you need. I can't teach this no better. The gurus had half of it right, but they didn't have all of it. The gurus had half of it right. They didn't have all of it. Okay? They had half of it right. The light, the frequency, they had all of that, but they didn't have all of it. And we must bridge this gap. Okay? We must bridge this gap. Is it under becoming a member, right? No. The owner's manual is the owner's manual, Angelica. Just DM me and somebody email you for the owner's manual. Okay? The owner's manual is the owner's manual. You just DM me and somebody email you that. Yes, sir. Yeah, just DM me. I've tried to DM. Well, you must don't know how to DM, man. You DM on TikTok. The Centaria. Centaria, you DM me here. Okay? The bottom line, you guys, is that you're made of condensed light. Okay? You heal through increased light. You age through the loss of light. Okay? Everlasting life requires mastery of the biology of light. If y'all don't know nothing about light biology, it won't happen. So all we're trying to do is teach you about how these things bring light to you. So when you get your owner's manual, those food colors are holding light. Okay, those herbs are holding light. Okay, those things that we're doing as far as nature-based interventions and activities, all of this is light work. Okay, you are made of condensed light. You heal through increased light. You age through the loss of light. Okay, and so you must understand these things when you're looking at trying to plan out your healing. Okay, you got to. And when you get it, you got it, you good. Anything else? Your cells will communicate light first before they communicate chemicals. Okay, inside the body, chemicals like your hormones and your neurotransmitters. Remember, I told you that endocrine system, that's a slow response. Your nerves are fast, but they're not faster than speed of light. Okay, so your nerves are fast, but they're not faster than the speed of light. And so if your cells is talking into light, then you must understand biophotonic communication. And I've been teaching y'all of that, okay? But again, that's when you got to descend, because a lot of y'all think y'all know everything. But light is the primary language, okay, in which your body speaks. Light is also the primary fuel in which your body uses. Light is also the organizing intelligence of the human body, okay? So, and this ain't metaphorically. This is literally. It's not metaphoric. Your body is not just chemical. It is photonic. Okay? It is photonic. So you must understand that your primary language is light. Okay? That light is recorded in frequency, or what we would call wavelengths, or what you would call numbers. So your birthday is an indicator of what light you came into, what light you came under. Remember that the planets are lights. The stars are the lights. The planets give off light. So that light at your birth influenced the light in you. Okay? Y'all get that? That light from birth influenced the light in you. That's why they followed the northern star, right? And found Christ, because they're talking to you about the light. Okay? And so biophotons are ultra weak lights, but they're coherent though. They're very intelligent, okay? They're laser light. They're very highly intelligent light codes, okay? And they carry information faster than your nerves, your hormones, cytokines, your nerve synapses. All of that is second fiddle to the biophotons. And so this is cell talk. So when you're talking about talking to the cells and stuff like that, how do you talk to the cells? Through light, cell talk. Okay? Cell talk is to each other through light first. Okay? Cell talk. Okay, this is cell talk. Right? Cell talk, they talk with light way before they talk with chemicals. Okay? This is the hidden system the ancients did not understand, but they sensed it. So they call this cell talk chi, or they call it the prana, or the sekhem, or the life force. But this was the light, okay? And the mitochondria are like miniature suns inside of your cells, okay? And you got 100 trillion of these mitochondria, okay? 100 trillion. And they basically are like light engines, okay? And they convert sunlight, food electrons, and oxygen into ATP plus photons. So when your mitochondria release these biophotons, your nervous system sharpens. When your mitochondria releases these biophotons, your immune system activates. When your mitochondria releases these biophotons, your aura strengthens. When your mitochondria releases these biophotons, your mood elevates and your healing accelerates. But when the light dims, the aging starts to come in. The inflammation starts to rise. The immunity starts to corrode. And the consciousness starts to dull. So the longevity is wrapped into the mitochondrial light capacity. So this stuff that we're teaching is light codes. The Bible, all this stuff is light codes. Your DNA is like a fiber optic cable. Like Comcast, that's your DNA. It's like a fiber optic cable. Before Comcast came, the cables wasn't underground. Okay, they wasn't underground. So when Comcast and all these, when fiber optic cable came in, put it like that. When fiber optic cable came in, they went underground, which means that your cable don't get interrupted no more. Like the satellite. What was the difference between cable and satellite? Nothing. Both of them will go out on your ass when it rained, when it snowed, when the wind blowed too hard. The old cable and satellite will go out. So fiber optic cable came in and went underground, so that now the weather is not a problem for your TV no more. And fiber optic cable became the number one way for you to watch TV. That's Comcast. That's fiber optic cable. Now DNA is fiber optic cable that stores and sends these light messages. Remember that I told you your DNA emits light. Okay, it is a constant biophotonic field. Okay, and you just got to look at its structure. It literally is helical, fractal, and it's wave guiding. It looks like this, the light path. So this is the sun's ecliptic, but this is also your DNA strand. Look, just like this, because it is a. I'm trying to teach y'all this stuff. Okay, as above, so below. As without, so within. So this acts as a receiver. as a transmitter, as a storage drive, as a laser antenna. Okay, it absorbs light, it organizes it, and then uses light to direct cellular instruction. But how? Through your emotions, through your thoughts. And that's why these are very important. Through your trauma, through your meditation, through your breath, and through your sound is how you're letting off the light, you guys. Okay? Any questions thus far? You guys keep tapping, I'll keep talking. Cell talk. Okay? Light codes. Right? So through your emotions, through your thoughts, through your trauma, through your meditation, through your breath, and through your sound, you change your biology. And because they change the light field that the DNA responds to, then the DNA is the biological light antenna. So when we can change your emotions, when we can change your thoughts, when we can change your perspective of the trauma, when we can get you to meditate, when we can change your breathing patterns, and when we can change the heart resonance, the sound, the heartbeat, we can change your biology, which means that we can change your liver, your kidneys, your cancer. We can change the trajectory of your diseases. We can change your poverty. We can change your lonely status. We can change you when you can change your mind. Okay? Yes, Angelica. Yes, yes, yes. So the nervous system is a fiber optic network, okay? So if your DNA is the fiber optic cable, then your nervous system is the fiber optic network, okay? And the biggest thing about that is the fascia, okay? The fascia or fascia, nerves, and the collagen are all piezoelectric, okay? They're all piezoelectric. Now, y'all might not know what piezoelectric means. You can go Google that, okay? I can write that down for you. Piezoelectric. Okay, piezoelectric. Okay, and the meaning of this is that the fascia can be movement, sound, and tension convert into electricity and then into light. Y'all get that? Mechanical pressure and then into light. That's piezoelectric. Okay, so that means that yes, we can convert these feelings over into the light that's needed. So fascia conducts the biophotons like a liquid crystal fiber optic web. This is why acupuncture works, the chakra stuff works. This is why the meridians conduct energy. This is why the rhythm heals and dancing releases the trauma. This is why singing and breath awakens the spine. The nervous system is not electric alone. It is electrophotonic. And then your hormones are also light modulated. And so your pineal gland acts like a what? A light receiver. It's a light. So it's going to regulate melatonin, serotonin, and all these different what? Medicines that you produce in your body. That's why meditation and sleep is so important here, because of hormone regulation that sleep and meditation can provide. The slowing down, the slow response, all this stuff helps you with keeping your water balance together, your hormonal balances together. Okay, so piezoelectric, we understand that converting those things into electricity, then into light. Okay, but then we're looking at the pineal gland being one that produces the melatonin, serotonin, the circadian rhythm cycles, regeneration, dreams, mystical states, which is what we need. So that when your light is aligned, your hormones are aligned, your mood is aligned, the aging slows, restoration increases. When light is chaotic, then everything is chaotic. You are a light body, but you got to know how to marry the two and keep the spirit into the matter. And we're going to teach you guys that day I come on for the rest of the time that I'm alive. We're going to teach you how to marry the two. I want you to walk around married to yourself. Somebody put that in the chat. I want you to walk around married to yourself. Okay. I want everybody got to be married to themselves. You got to be so married to yourself and so understanding of yourself that you don't require anything else outside of that, because you are married to yourself. Not saying that you in love with yourself you hard-headed about yourself and you just gonna do what you want to do. That ain't what I'm talking about. I ain't talking about loving yourself. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about married to self in the essence of understanding what self needs from the understanding of what nature provides. So when you're married to yourself, you're married to God. But when you're married to yourself, you're married to nature. When you're married to yourself, you're married to your nature. And when you know your tendencies, when you understand God's will for your life, and then when you know how to marry the two, then you got a good purpose, you got a good goal, you got a good everlasting life cycle for you to go through. Okay? And your heart is going to emit the strongest electromagnetic field. Okay? Your heart is going to emit the strongest electromagnetic field in the body. And this field is going to organize your emotions, your immunity, your organ function, and your cellular regeneration. This field is a biophoton cloud shaped by love, gratitude, rhythm, breath, and coherence. You shine from the inside out, literally. Your aura is real, it's measurable, it's photonic. So when you have disease, all it is the loss of light. It's the loss of light organization. And you need to be able to get that light back into your life. So the herbs that we provide you guys and all that type of stuff is going to be what we're trying to help you with. So when I put that back up here and I say O minus P equals V, then you must understand what everything is, right? And so power is going to be the light. Okay? The obstruction is going to be the obstruction to that light, right? So the obstruction is the inflammation, the trauma, the toxins, the stagnation, okay? And then the vitality is going to be that restored coherence, okay? So the obstruction is going to be these over here, toxins, inflammation, trauma. Okay, what else we got? Just to name a few, right? So these are the things. And so if you're trying to get rid of diabetes, cancer, autoimmune disease, high blood pressure, you need to understand that that's a loss of photonic coherence. It's a breakdown in cellular communication. So then you need that back. So the disease is not a random thing then. It's just a disorder. And healing is not random. It's a reordering of your light field. And we know that, and it doesn't cost you an arm and a leg to know this and to be able to put this shit in your body. And so for that funky measly $50, that's what we're trying to reintroduce back to the human species, is how to put light back into your body. Your owner's manual is not going to help you heal your child. Your owner's manual won't help you heal your spouse, but it will help you heal yourself. And you got to put on your oxygen mask before you try to put on the oxygen mask of others. Okay? So these spiritual things work because they change your life. Okay? These spiritual things work because they change your life. Okay? And when they change your life, obviously they're going to change your life. So meditation works because it changes your life. Singing, laughing, dancing, crying, sex, breath work, prayer, meditation, forgiveness, joy, good sounds all change. And these are not mystical. They are photonic regulators. They increase cellular brightness, increase the cellular coherence. They increase mitochondrial charge. They increase biophotonic emission, and they increase emotional stability. I'm teaching you something about something that you can do that don't cost you to have to stay stuck on Dr. Sabia, stay stuck on Dr. Price, or stay stuck on Dr. this, Dr. I'm trying to teach you something where you can go back home and just tool the way you think about life and this existence and be able to say, man, you know what? It ain't as half bad as I think. And if I can continue to allow my emotions, my stability to stay there, this is it. This is what the ancestors taught us, how to use light energy. This is what the ancestors taught us, how to use light energy. Modern science explains this as the mechanisms of light by biophysics. But our ancestors taught us how to use this light energy. Ancestral systems understood the sun as nourishment, the fire as transformative, the rhythm as healing, the herbs as information carriers, the breath as spirit, the crystals as resonators. the water as memory. They understood that. Okay, and now we understand photons and electrons and frequencies. So all we got to do is integrate it, my people. Stop allowing them to separate you. Integrate it. We know electricity. We know biophotonic communication. We know neuroplasticity. We know fascia conductivity today. We know DNA resonance. So if they know light and they know cellular biology, if they know cosmology importance and we know biology importance, stop allowing it to be separated. The greatest mistake ever made is the separation of spirit and matter. But this is the master teaching, because together this is the master lesson. Again, you are made of condensed light, and you heal through increased light, and you will only get disease because of the light. You must understand the biology of light. I love you guys, man. If y'all don't have any questions, I appreciate all of you guys. I appreciate all of the love, all of the support. If you need my help, DM me and we'll get you the information that you need. I love you guys. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. And until next time, love HerbMan. Woo-say! Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. It's a great lesson to